a year ago, before I actually became vegan, I had this myth that I need a certain amount of protein, hence why I can't be vegan. And then I realised that I was really mistaken and that it's more than possible to be healthy, fit and strong on a plant-based diet. So this has gotten me really curious to sort of figure out how I can manage my own sort of diet and how other people can as well. So we've got a whole range of people that are here to talk to you about their experiences, what they actually do. We've got Ellysa, who's like a plant-based chef, plus she's a CrossFitter. We've got Linda and Nick, who's like a vegan fitness couple that like coach men and women individually and have one-on-one training. We've got Jazz, who's like a vegan fit mama, and she's so amazing because she does it all on her own and she's so strong. We've got Stefan, who's like an all-round vegan fitness enthusiast, and he's just incredible. So yeah, I'm going to go around now, and each person is going to talk a little bit about themselves, why they became vegan, and sort of how they manage their diet and training.
Thank you. My name's Ellysa. As I said, plant-based chef. That came along with the business of Mission Nutrition. Always been very active, but I found my recovery wasn't too great. And then I became vegan, and all of a sudden I could train 10 times more, didn't feel so lethargic. I found I had better muscle mass, my fitness increased and everything like that. Basically, I got 2 pet pigs and couldn't do meat anymore. I felt too bad every time I looked at them. The guilt kicked in, and then yeah, all these amazing benefits just came from this one little decision, and yeah, amazing opportunities came from the business and things like that. So if anyone wants good food, come to Mission Nutrition. And you can meet my pigs that started it all.
Hello everyone, I'm Linda. I am originally from Germany, and I came to Australia, I think over 2 years ago now. And my partner Nick and I, we have a company called The Journey, which is spelled V Journey. So the vegan journey, where we coach people to become fit on a plant-based diet, and we mainly also focus on boosting energy levels and confidence. So I became vegan a couple years ago, but I am already over 14 years meat-free. So when I was only 11, 12 years old, I came home from school and I told my mom, I'm done with it, that's it. I didn't like the idea to bite into a dead animal, and ever since I stopped eating meat, and it's been great. But as you said as well, when I started with my fitness, I was sore, like so sore. Every time I couldn't walk the stairs, and I pushed myself a lot, but it really didn't work out well. And then when I stopped dairy and eggs, I felt like I got goosebumps. I felt so amazing because I pushed myself every single day in the gym, and I didn't feel the soreness anymore. I felt confident, I felt just so great. And because you obviously can go to the gym more often, you can damage your muscle tissue while you recover it with, complete healthy protein sources, and you can grow muscle so much faster. And that's where I really saw the first most amazing results, and I could tone up and build muscle at the same time, which people say it's not possible. It was possible for me at this moment, and that's pretty much everything about me.
Hello everyone, my name is Nick. I'm from Vancouver, Canada. Growing up, I was always an athlete. I tried to take my baseball, professionalism to the next level. It was my dream to be a professional baseball player with the Toronto Blue Jays. Unfortunately, due to an injury when I was 19 years old, I wound up tearing my labrum, and I was unable to play basically after that. And eventually, I wound up taking my rehab pretty seriously, trying to get into it. But I still struggled, as everybody else has, with recovery. I would throw, and it would take me 10 days to recover after throwing. So in 2 days' time, on March 29th, is my 2-year anniversary of being vegan. And for the first time, after I tore my labrum, 3 months after I went vegan, I could do everything I could do normally. So my recovery was better than it had ever been before, and I was able to take my fitness to the next level as well. Seeing muscle growth in ways that I'd never seen before, seeing recovery in ways I'd never seen before. And this past year, I wound up making my dream come true of being a professional basketball player by playing my first season with the Perth Heat. And so
That's amazing. Wow.
So this is something that doesn't obviously happen very often when you're 29 years old and you're making your first professional debut and stuff like that. So these are some of the things that are possible if you really optimize your lifestyle and your diet and your fitness using this lifestyle, this plant-based lifestyle and vegan lifestyle. Really anything is possible, and I'm living proof of it. So that's basically my story, and I'll hand it off.
So cool hearing all these different stories. I love it. So I'm Jazz, and I've been vegan now coming up to nearly 13 years, so a bit of a veteran. And when I got into it at the time, it was purely ethical reasons, but I was competing in triathlon at a competitive level, I guess. So I really wanted to find out the best way to recover, and you guys are talking exactly about that. There's a Canadian guy, actually, Brendan Brazier. I don't know if you read his book, Thrive Diet. He was a professional Ironman triathlete, and I was doing Ironman at the time. So I got right into eating all the whole foods and did a lot of raw food for a while, and I'm kind of like a real fruity girl. I love all that kind of high carby stuff. That's always worked for me with the Ironman stuff. So I think I've done over 4 Ironman races, and at the peak of my career, which was actually a year after being hit by a Mack truck on my bike, so I was lucky to kind of survive that one. I had broken wrist and face and legs, and recovery was a huge part of my journey. And that following year afterwards, I actually became WA's triathlete of the year, so racing open.
Ooh,
so
that's amazing.
It's probably the peak of my career, I guess, after being smashed up. And so it's very disciplined, very focused. I put a lot of hours into my training and the food. I was very disciplined. But then I needed to balance out a bit, and I had 2 beautiful, healthy children, and they are my main focus. You can't go out and be doing 8-hour training rides and swims and stuff well, some people can, but I chose to be a mum. So it's very different now. I still run and swim, and I did a run-swim race the other week, and I still get out and do what I can, but often, like when the kids were young, I was running with a double running pram. Now they can keep up with me. But my main focus now is encouraging people. I have so many mums say, how do you do it? And I'm like, just play with the kids. So I have a whole different focus that you don't necessarily have to be at the high end all the time. That was awesome when you want to do it, but for me, it wasn't something I wanted to sustain forever, because I was never naturally talented. It took a lot of work to get to where I did. Whereas now, you'll see me handstanding with the kids. We do push-ups every day. Often I'm carrying the kids on my shoulders. I monkey bar with the kids, and I'm all about the play. And I think a lot of us have forgotten actually how to do this. And you'll see us out all the time, literally with the kids climbing trees and all sorts. We're barefoot most of the time. I've actually got some shoes on at the moment, but we've walked down from Kings Park today, and we'll probably have to walk back up the hills with Rosie on my shoulders. And movement is just such a big part of it. So I just wanted to, even though I'm not a high-end athlete anymore, to encourage every single one of you can get out and find ways to move more. And I'm a big advocate for that. So if anyone has any questions on that later, happy to answer.
Incredible.
So Stefan's my name. I'm very new to the vegan community. I think it's about my 2-year vegetarian anniversary and probably about 18 months of vegan. I unfortunately don't have a date that I turned, so I'm not sure when that is, but my story was very much ethical as well. It wasn't from a fitness or health or recovery or muscle building perspective. So I've always been, wouldn't say, I don't know what classifies you as an athlete or not, but I've always been quite fit, fitter than most of my peers. I did rowing at school, which was obviously quite competitive, and I'm very much an endurance-based athlete, not a power or strength athlete. So my biggest turning point, like a lot of vegans, was a sobering thought of how many animals had died from my choices. And that was a really, really, really sobering thought to confront. And when I realised it was probably in the thousands, I thought that was really not good. And I vowed to, my why was so strong that I didn't want to hurt another one. And that was my motivation, that all I needed to maintain. So then I challenged myself, despite I'm in the medical field, and obviously you're taught in the medical field the food pyramid, and obviously in one of the sections is meat and dairy and eggs, which now seems very bizarre, but obviously we're taught it quite strongly. So I vowed to myself that if there's vegetarians and vegans out there that have been born that way, or for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, why can't I give it a go? So over my journey over the last 2 years is, as I mentioned, I've always been fit. I could be fit on a meat and egg and dairy diet, and I could be equally fit, if not, at least not worse off vegan, and I definitely do not feel worse at all, like performing better than I ever had. So I've always had a quick recovery, so I can't really vouch that I've recovered quicker or superhumanly compared to normal. I've always been a pretty quick recoverer. But in the very least, absolutely no detriment. So if you can be fit and healthy, seemingly on a meat-based diet, and fit and healthy without harming animals, then it's a pretty easy decision, and yeah, having no quality of life degradation. So yeah, I'll keep it there. I'll leave it there.
I loved hearing all the diversity about everybody's different stories and stuff, and it's really great to see how many different things you can do on a plant-based diet, because I know like everyone's into different aspects of fitness. So we've got Ellysa, who's into CrossFit, is it? Mainly CrossFit. And Linda, you're mostly into weight training, weightlifting, and you're weightlifting and baseball too. And then we've got Jazz, who's like our all-rounder, like our mum goals. And for Stefan, you do cycling, swimming, weightlifting, bit of everything fitness. Awesome. So now I've got some questions that we just went around and collected from a few people in the audience, I think, or from out there. So just whoever would like to answer, feel free. What advice would you give to someone that would like to build muscle on a plant-based diet? So whoever would like to answer.
Sorry, what was that?
What advice would you give to someone that would like to build muscle on a plant-based diet? Is that possible?
Yeah, of course it's possible. I'm living proof of it, for example. So, I mean... Let's keep it PG here, okay? But basically, obviously it's possible. There's certain aspects that you need, as Linda mentioned earlier, the more often that you're able to actually go to the gym and be physically active, same with you mentioning it, right? The more physically active that you are, the more you're going to be capable of doing things that you never thought were possible, right? And so especially for me, being a professional baseball player, you have to take that to the next level, right? And I was never able to accomplish that being omnivorous. I was never able to get to a level where I could see myself being professional. And after 2 years of being vegan, I've managed to more than supersede that expectation, right? And so, when it comes to the advice of somebody, I would say being consistent and understanding your why, like Stefan said. If you know why you're doing something, and that why is it's deeper than just fitting into old clothes, or it's deeper than just losing a little bit of weight. If you have a dream or a desire that's going to take you to the next level, like I'm sure you would have never been able to compete if you didn't have that dream and desire, right? So I think finding a solid reason why would be my best advice, because if your solid reason why is going to shape who you are as an individual, that part of you will never die. Regardless of what your lifestyle looks like, that part of you will never change, right? So if the habits that you build and the lifestyle that you create for yourself is a clear representation of what you want to look like and what you want to be like and how you want to be viewed as an adult and as an individual, that's the best advice I could possibly give.
Wow, that's so powerful. Really love that. Awesome. Okay, so this question's for Ellysa, I guess, because vegan chef. So how would you create a meal with balanced macros?
Personally, I don't do macros just because I like to eat everything.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
But I think with anything, it's practice. When it comes down to macros, once you've weighed your rice this many times or weighed your lentils this many times, you kind of just get into habit and learn what's in what, and you learn to go off just from what's in it. And at first, yes, it is difficult because you have to understand the carbs that come with the beans, and with your nuts, you've got to get your fat levels right and everything like that. But at the end of the day, like anything, with practice and consistency it becomes second nature and you won't need the scales all
Yeah.
the time. But I do say that being vegan, your carbs and your fats do sneak up sometimes when you like a little bit of extra.
Yeah.
Personally, I love to add a little bit of extra tofu to everything.
Yeah.
But if you do that, you just take it out somewhere else. It's not that difficult. You just have to be disciplined with that. And if you really want it, like I was saying before, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And it's more than just your carbs and your fats. You've got to think about all of the nutrition that's in the food as well. It goes along with minerals, and a common thing you get is iron deficiency and that when it comes to being vegan. And most of the time it's not even iron deficiency, you're vitamin C deficient. So you've really just got to break your food down for you, find what works for you, and it just becomes easier after that.
Yeah, I think that's so relatable because for me personally, I used to always use the scales, and then I got to a point where I'm like, pretty sure this cup of rice weighs the same amount it did yesterday, and I've been doing this for a while now, so I think you just...
And when your pants start getting tighter, you know your measurements have gotten a bit big.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're like, yeah, I got this now. So next question is for Linda. What would you say to someone that is possibly already vegan that is just trying to get into like a healthy habit or like a sort of fitness lifestyle?
Okay. So first of all, motivation is garbage.
Yes. Say it again, please.
Motivation is garbage. It doesn't exist. It will never be there when you need it. So don't ever rely on it. So the first thing that I want to really give you as advice is you need to create habits, sustain them, and then really, over long periods of time, you will get to your goal. Don't be impatient when it comes to your fitness and health. It's something that you have to invest in over long periods of time. And yes, it is possible 12, 16 weeks, but your motivation only comes up for the things that are already easy to you. Because if you think about, let's say, you love to go for bike rides, you will be motivated because you already love it and it seems easy to you. But if you are new to the gym, you don't find the motivation because it's something new, it's something you don't want to put yourself into because you feel uncomfortable, you feel like you don't know exactly what you're doing. So you will not feel motivated. But the first step you gotta do is find out, when do I go to the gym, why do I go to the gym, and set a routine that puts you in this environment of actually taking action and going. And the more often you do things with whatever it is in life, the more you will succeed in the end. So that's my advice on building habits and motivation. Don't wait too long. We only have one life, we only have one health. If we destroy it, it's very hard to repair it. So start today.
Yeah, that's perfect. I really love that, especially the whole motivation is garbage. Like, I can really resonate with that. I think you're absolutely right. People will just like go to the gym once and expect you to just like last, but it's about sustainable. Yeah, exactly. It's like the sustainable habits. So Jazz, I wanted to know, so you mentioned before you were like into triathlons and whatnot, and now you have children. How did your mindset sort of change a bit to like not continue the same path of like being into triathlons, and how do you like incorporate your children more?
I think somewhere in there, like you have that goal, right? And for me, I wanted to give 110%, and it probably wasn't at a sustainable level. Like when you're doing 30 plus hours a week, especially because I had these injuries, but I wanted to know that I'd given it everything. And I think somewhere out there, I thought to myself, I want to feel a little more normal now because there's a lot of sacrifices that come with some of these big goals. So getting up at 5 a.m. on a Sunday morning for a 3-hour run means that you're maybe not going to go out to the concert till 2 a.m. the night before with your friends. So there's sacrifices, but for me, it's where I wanted to be, and somewhere in there, I felt like I wanted it to be more normal. But it actually was a real journey because you kind of get addicted to being that fit and healthy. So I just didn't know quite what it was. So it was actually a good year or two of journey, and actually even your body changing, because obviously when you go from training for an Ironman to not training for an Ironman, suddenly you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm getting fat. Oh, I have to go back to doing an Ironman, or I have to diet. And actually it was I think any professional athletes, often you see them come out and you're like, whoa, they blow up. And it's like, But it's really, it's actually a really hard journey for anyone that's gone through anything like that. But my big thing I come back to was eating, whole food, plant-based, and it's almost like I needed to put on a little bit of weight initially and just trust the big picture, and that's what happened. I just needed to wait and normalize, and in that time I also started having the kids. So there had to be a lot of inward self-love for when we're not always this perfect, fit, healthy, lean. I don't know if athletes, if you guys have been through this, we're so hard on ourselves. But I just had to trust the big picture. Like, where did I want it to be? So I had the children, and obviously that was number one priority, and I just kept active. So I actually ran to 42 weeks pregnant with Will, with him in my belly, and swimming in the ocean the day before. With Rosie, I was running, pushing Will in the pram, 41 weeks pregnant.
Wow.
But it was more about movement, so it was more about just get out and move. It was like half an hour. If I needed to walk, I'd walk. It was done with a lot of kindness, and it was more done with movement. The diet, I just trusted. If I needed to eat something, I did. And I had to really come back to, there's a big journey in there in self-love and self-worth, because, I was sabotaging myself for like putting on a little bit of weight. And now that the kids are a bit older, I can go out for a run without them and a swim. And I do some races and stuff, but a lot of the time I can't go to the gym. So like, I would love to go to the gym, but I'm a solo mama, so it's not so easy, and I don't want to put them in daycare to go off. So the mindset is like, how can we be active? So my goal now is like, how can I be sustainably strong and fit and active with my kids? Maybe down the track I might get back to doing something like an ultra marathon or whatever, but there's just so many ways to do that, and now I'm much more relaxed on the diet too, because again, you can be very driven and disciplined, but I found it very hard, and I felt like, I've fallen off the wagon and I've got to get back on, whereas now it's a lot more it's so much more balanced, but it was a journey to get there, that's for sure.
No, that's amazing. I think I can really resonate with everything you're saying, because I'm a mum as well. So initially as well, when you go through periods where, oh my gosh, I've gained weight or I've fallen off track and stuff, usually when you're in that sort of extreme, like professional athlete or like really focus on your fitness, it's so easy to just get into that shame sort of experience and really like get angry at yourself. But I think one of the main goals and accomplishments now is trying to be kind to yourself and setting an amazing example for your children, which you're already doing. I think that is so like inspiring that your kids are going to grow up healthy, watching their mum like do all her goals, plus include them and really prioritize them. So I think that's absolutely fantastic.
I think we all come from a place where we all have love and respect for animals, but it's actually so much harder to do it to ourselves. And I think definitely as you're a mum and your body changes, and it's all good to have like body positivity when you're fit and you're smashing goals, but then when all of a sudden you're in a different position, or if anyone has health issues or whatever, it's a little different when, or you're aging or whatever it is. But so I'm very big on the body positivity and trying to show that for the kids.
That's amazing, because I feel the same. Sometimes if I go with my kids and they want a piece of cake, I could be the extra fit person and just be like, no, don't touch it, or show them that it's okay to live in balance. And I guess that's exactly what you mean for your kids. Like, you can be fit and healthy, but you don't have to like punish yourself or be super strict. So
I think like for me, I still have the thought sometimes was like, right, I could like lose that 5 kilos and I know what to do. Like for me, it's normally cutting out fat and being, but it's like, actually, I stay exactly the same as I am, like that 5 kilos heavier, happy, adaptable around the kids, and I'm like, is it worth it?
Exactly.
I'm like, I'm good here, just, so it depends. If you have a goal, like if I was trying to run faster in a race, then the 5 kilos would be important, but right now it's like, I'm good. I'm gonna eat that bit of whatever it is.
It's like that intrinsic sort of self-worth, right? It doesn't come from goal, it's just like, I'm good right now, I'm happy.
The self-love.
Oh, that's awesome. So Stefan, I know you've been a little bit quiet. Sorry, I haven't asked you anything yet.
Rare occurrence.
But I am dying to know, I think you and I discussed, Stefan and I actually had a previous interview this year, and you talked a lot about what you actually eat. That was really insane for me because I'm like such a foodie. I like have to create all these like amazing dishes, and Stefan, like I'll let you go in about your diet.
I'd just like to comment on one thing you said as well. Just the internal language of the word sacrifice. It's the relationship you have with a lot of words as well, like I can't do this or I can't do that, but it's what you're doing for yourself. So it's just the word sacrifice, like I'm giving up these things, but really you're not doing those things, which is for you, not against you. So that was just one thing I picked up. In terms of my diet, I've decluttered my whole life, and what that's transpired into my diet. So I actually buy the same thing for every lunch every day of the year, which means that I don't eat breakfast, so I intermittent fast every day. So I don't have to think about breakfast; it doesn't exist. So there's one meal that I don't even need to make. Every Tuesday, I buy 7 bananas, 7 kiwi fruits, 14 sticks of celery, and 7 bananas. So it's like banana, kiwi, celery, and cucumber. And I make my own oat milk. So every morning, I make a shake that has those 4 things in it. Sometimes, if I'm feeling adventurous, I'll put blueberries and strawberries in it. If I'm feeling wild. So literally, I don't eat anything until 2, 3 o'clock, and that's my shake. So get up, make the same thing, go to work, and then have it at 2 o'clock. And then I'll have a small handful of nuts, an apple and a carrot, and then dinner's the only meal I need to make that I have to actually think about. There's a guy, the reason why that I implemented that was, I can't remember, there's a lot of entrepreneurs, I'm going to put myself in their category, who literally have the same shirts and they just wear the same shirt every day because it's one less decision you have to make and it declutters your life and simplifies it. So I've adopted that with my diet. So sometimes I'll mix different things, sometimes I'll just do celeries and things like that, but generally that's what I do. And then dinner's just quinoa, beans, tofu, tempeh, lentils, and roast vegetables. It's really not that hard. And that's it. That's 99% of my diet is, if you came over to my house every day, if you got a different day, it'd be a one-off, yeah.
Yeah, you'd probably be eating the same meal every day.
It's fantastic. And I'm getting everything. Like I made a meal the other day which just had all stuff in it. It was just stuff.
Yeah.
Just chucked in a plate.
Yeah, I think that sort of attitude.
Like probably not as calculated as the rice weighing thing, but I just put stuff in a bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Oh, that's awesome. I feel like really simplifying your diet just makes it so easy and sustainable for you and just something you can just do. And I really like that whole don't have to think about it, don't have to over-plan it and stuff, and you still seem fit and healthy, so that's great that like you're managing to do all that. So another question, I'm not too sure who wrote this, but it's how to reduce symptoms of arthritis. I'm not sure if anyone would know.
I've got a weird one.
Oh, okay.
I'll just brief, I do a few weird things as well, so I also do a lot of fasting. I believe, again, controversial, nothing to do with veganism, but I fast and I believe the body's ability. I'm big on mindset and intention and placebo affecting yourself. So when I did a 9-day water fast last year, so I had nothing but water for 9 days. And during that process, I visualized every organ in my body, like I visualized my blood just cleansing. I meditated every day. And again, people might think that's a bit bollocks, but I believe a lot in mind's ability to cleanse itself, and I just know that a vegan diet is more alkaline and less acidic, which is probably going to contribute less towards something like arthritis. Movement is important, things like that, stretching, movement, but someone had a more official answer than myself, maybe?
Yeah. Did you want to ask? Yeah.
I'll answer a little bit, yeah. One of the 3 main deficiencies that vegans normally see is your omegas, okay? So we're not consuming fish, we're not consuming anything that has omegas, and omegas are very good for joint mobility. And so if you are somebody who is vegan and you're not supplementing it, that's one of the things that will really help lubricate your joints and actually allow nutrients to travel into the joints to give them their mobility back. So that's just one of the things that I know as well. And much like you said, the power of your mind is very, very powerful. Like, we only use a very small fraction of the percentage of our mind. So if we believe that something is very wrong with us, we're going to believe it. Whereas if we're able to actually cut out the nonsense and use meditation to really practice not focusing on the things that are so negative, you'll notice that your mindset and your view of yourself is going to change very much as well. So much like a placebo effect will turn you into thinking something's automatically happening just because somebody's told you it, you actually have the ability to control that mindset as well. So.
Yeah, sure. Feel free to add to it. Yeah.
Just a little tip that I got given when my mum had arthritis and a few other people in my family did. They started having turmeric with a bit of cracked black pepper. It's an anti-inflammatory. They found that it helped a lot as well with the fasting. Just because your body, because it's not constantly digesting, is helping repair yourself, and it really absorbs the turmeric and the cracked black pepper, and just worked wonders. So that's just a little helpful tip with that one.
That's awesome. Yeah, great. I need to try that actually. That sounds good. Is anything else? Fair enough. Yeah, I think I'm hearing lots about. You mentioned the omegas. You mentioned iron earlier. So I just wanted to ask: does anyone supplement with anything? Yeah. So what do you want to?
So Nick and I, we supplement vitamin B12 every day, as well as omegas, and we take a multivitamin just to make sure that our iron levels and everything else is on point. I personally, because I'm doing lots of fitness, I supplement daily plant-based protein powder as well as creatine. If someone doesn't know what, like, protein powder is probably something everyone knows. Make sure that it is a complete protein, because some of the plants are not complete protein, and the best is to either find a company that is making sure that it's complete, or there are also blended protein powders that are a mix of soy protein and hemp protein and so on. So the more diverse food you eat, the better off you are. So make sure, Stefan, that you get enough variety. It's just very, very good for our gut bacteria as well, the more different kind of foods we eat, because we have trillions of different bacteria in our gut, and everyone has a specific individual formula kind of working in their gut. So when it comes to fiber intake and everything, it's so important to just eat as many different foods as possible. And this will already be like really good. And then creatine is something that it's like a powder. It's 5 grams a day. I just put it in one of my shakes, as well as mixed with BCAAs, which are amino acids. And it really helps to kind of like hydrate your muscle cells. So when you're doing a lot of fitness, you can look a little bit more big. I like that. Yeah. You might even have a little bit more weight on your scale, but I like it. I personally always try to gain weight because I know, because I'm eating so clean, that it's mainly in form of muscle mass, and muscle mass is really heavy. So everyone who wants to lose weight here, maybe you don't even have to lose as much weight as you think, because sometimes if you want to tone up and have the fit look, then it might be that you only need to lose half of the weight you want to lose, and then add like some muscle mass on top of this, and then you will look amazing. So that's my tip, and that's everything I supplement.
I'll just go quick. The only thing I have is B12. I believe the best supplement is, although it sounds like I do the same thing every lunch, which is true, it's very shake fruit based during the day, but dinners I go through the supermarket and say, I haven't had broccoli in a roll, beetroot, mushrooms. I just pick different veggies every day. So I do, every time you look at my fridge, I just make sure I get every colour in my shopping list. So I make sure that I believe that the way I like to think about it is, vegetable and fruit trees essentially get the sun, the earth, the air, and the water, and put all its own micronutrients and nutrients and vitamins in this fruit or vegetable. So I just make sure I get every damn colour, and that's my dinner. So I really go broad at dinner, but I really only have one meal that has everything in it. It's a very complete dinner. But I also believe in the old wives' tale of an apple a day keeps the doctor away, and that's why I have one every day.
Awesome.
It has pectin in it, which clears your lymphatic system, which is really good. So that's why I believe in an apple a day. and that's why I have that every day. And yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's like eating the rainbow. I actually saw your Eat the Rainbow challenge. I think every day he ate a different colour.
Yeah, so I did like Monday was red foods only, Tuesday was, so I did the red, orange, green, yellow. I do weird stuff.
He was going wild.
If you wanna do no weird stuff, contact me. Yeah, so the hardest day was blue because it's only blueberries. So green was easy, but yeah, blue was hard.
Yeah, fair enough. One thing you said, Linda, that I really loved was when you were trying to be fit, how muscle weighs more, and it's not always about losing weight. I feel like, because I used to be there too, where I was really focused on trying to lose weight all the time. But one thing that I realized, because I actually used to be, before I was vegan, I used to be really heavy. And I really smashed all my goals and got down to like my perfect goal weight. Once I was there, I didn't reach this all of a sudden happiness level. I didn't feel like, okay, now that's it, I'm done working out. I feel like, but there's still this, and there's still things I could do to improve, and what else could I do? And I think that's like what you were saying, like, it's not always about the scales. I think having different goals and things like that is just so much more valuable, right? Like, and I've started taking the creatine because you recommended it. And I really like that. I just think, yeah, it's so important, especially for women, to like not base your whole body image and confidence on that number. And throwing the scales away. Just not the weighing food scales. Just just throw the scales away pretty much. And I feel like having goals that are based on just like how you feel about yourself is possibly the best thing. And one thing that I've also observed from like everybody here, I think we've all talked a bit about meditation or mindfulness. I think, I don't know about everybody, but do you feel that having that healthy, fit lifestyle also makes you very sort of mindful and like a lot more conscious? Yeah. I think you mentioned you were meditating the other day.
Yeah, so what I usually do is I wake up in the morning very early and I take my creatine, BCAAs, sometimes even a shake if I feel a bit hungry, or half of a banana because it gives me energy. And then I'm heading out, and in front of my gym there's a park. So the first thing I do in the morning is I sit down for 10 to 15 minutes and meditate in front of the gym, knowing that I'm going to the gym, passing by the cafe shop where I usually get my almond cappuccino. And this is where habit building comes in, because if you make it, you need to reduce the friction that stands between you and your goal. If you make it easy, then you will go there and you will be, also excited to go there. And for me, it's exciting to, first of all, calm my mind, see my fitness results. I want to go to the gym, but also because I'm passing by my cafe shop, I know as a reward of doing so, I will allow myself to get my almond cappuccino on the way back home. So I know that if I'm not going to the gym, I'm not going to the cafe shop, and then yes.
That's good. That's like your little reward for yourself.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
So you need to reward yourself for what you do, and that's very important because you're teaching your mind and body that what you're doing right now is not a threat, even though it's something new. And we all have this survival mode within ourselves, and we want to really overcome the fear of starting something new. So we need to put ourselves in a situation where we enjoy what we do.
That's awesome. I think what you were saying with the whole fear of starting new, I think anybody that hasn't started a fitness journey before, or when they first do, they feel super intimidated by going into the gym and seeing all these like super fit people and feel like, oh, they're looking at me and stuff. I think one thing about mindset is it's important to realize that it's all in your head. They all had to start somewhere as well. Like, you didn't see any single person walk into the gym super fit that had never been there before. So everyone's just focused on their own goals, on their journeys, and you just have to stay in your lane, focus on yourself.
Just to quickly build on what you just said, everybody that walks into the gym and they look like they're on steroids or whatever it is, right? They started exactly where you were when you first walked through the gym, right? And so like you said, like sometimes the habit of going to the gym and getting healthy, you set it too much, right? You set it too aspirational, right? So it's like, oh, I gotta go to the gym 7 days a week, all right? I have to go there for an hour every single day in order to see my results. Well, what if we simplified that to, instead of you going to the gym every single day, what if the habit that you built was super, super simple and only took less than 10 seconds to do? What if the habit that you built was simply putting on your running shoes, right? If you put on your running shoes and then you know immediately afterwards you're going to be doing something fit, right? It doesn't matter what it is. If you put your running shoes on, that's the first step. After that, everything is up to you, and it's objective to you and what you want to do as well, right? So you don't need to set these dreams and aspirations of going to the gym an hour and a half to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It doesn't start with that. It starts with putting on your running shoes and going.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think another tip that I'd sort of give is accountability. Getting a fitness coach will actually change your life because, okay, so we've got some fitness coaches here, which I think they sort of agree that, you know how Linda started with motivation can be garbage. I think it's having someone to push you when you're feeling a bit not up for it as well. Having someone to sort of keep you track on your goals if you feel like you need a bit of help. That always is really a great thing to do. Yes?
Sorry, I was just going to add.
Yeah.
Again, this is where it gets a little tricky because I don't have an hour and a half. So I'm a massage therapist, and one of my clients told me a few years back that he had a shoulder injury, and as part of his rehab he started doing push-ups, and he does 100 push-ups a day, and he's not like some super fit, I mean he's a big guy, but I was so inspired. And last year I thought I really need to do some upper body stuff, but how am I going to do it, because I just can't get to the gym and I'm not motivated. So I started doing 20 push-ups a day, and it takes me less than a minute. So if anyone wants like a really quick, and obviously I started off not being able to pump out 20 solid push-ups, but yeah, now I do 28 a day because that will get me to 10,000 for the year.
Wow.
So it takes me less than a minute to jump down and like, yeah, and you can do it anywhere. Like, you know, I often do it after I get out of the shower so I don't even get sweaty. So making a routine where you can...
Yeah, but Jazz, don't you have your kids coming up to you while you're
Oh,
getting out of the
Rosie's
shower?
often on
I
my
have
back.
that too. I can't even put my clothes on. You go
Like,
like,
if you saw, sometimes I'm naked with Rosie on my back, like trying to do a push-up. And Will, do you want to give us a demo of some push-ups?
oh,
Will's pretty good. Come on, Will. Come on, Will. Show us a push-up. Rosie, can you do a push-up for us? Come on, kids. Should we do some push-ups?
No.
Come on.
Okay.
Maybe we'll warm them up to it. But
Okay,
yeah, so
we'll do a family goal.
push-ups maybe at the end.
Yeah, okay, sounds good.
But yeah, I was going to say also community. I have a running girls group of just women and just meeting up with someone. So I don't know if you guys all have like a crew. Obviously at the gym you've got a bit of a crew. You solo. Yeah, some people are great at sites.
Yeah.
Sometimes do solo, but yeah, I'm so much better when I'm accountable. But,
Oh, yeah, I think that's amazing.
Community is huge. So
Yeah.
and actually Sue, we all know Sue.
Yeah.
Right,
Where's Sue?
Sue, we love
put
you,
your hand
Sue.
up.
Sue's great at bringing together community, and she has the Vegans Triathlete Facebook group, and there's a vegan running group. So if any of you wanting to actually collaborate and join in, there's some great groups of people who meet together. And Sue, talk to her because she's
Yeah.
amazing at bringing people together.
Yeah,
We love you,
yeah.
Sue.
She actually brought us together. She told me
There
about
we
you.
go. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, perfect. Ellysa wanted to say something? Yeah.
A big thing I noticed is having a good support crew around you. Like you were saying, being a CrossFitter, you learn who's in your class every single day. They come accountable, they help push you. If you're having a rough day, they notice. And just being surrounded by people that can pick up if you're not feeling 100%, they can push you or tell you that's okay for today. If you go missing for 3 days, they'll message you or whatever and be like, are you okay? What's up? Are you just chickening out?
Yeah.
But having a good support base is one of the biggest things, even when it comes to diet as well. Having them understand your dietary needs, making sure you're eating enough, and just bouncing information off each other. I think we learn from each other better than anything. So if you can find a good support crew, even if it's just on Facebook or whatever, that makes a whole world of difference. It's just having someone, if you're having a shitty day, just go, can you motivate me today? Because obviously you don't have yours that day.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think for myself as well, just speaking on fitness, so one thing that I really fear is cardio. So I found that I actually really love dance and I'm really passionate about dance. So that's where I've sort of found my community base. And it's my cardio and I don't have to like really pump out anything. So I think exercise should always be fun as well, and you should do something that makes you feel good and makes you feel happy. It doesn't necessarily always have to be like in the gym or like a set routine. Just like getting up and moving your body is just like just as important, I think. I've got one more question. So do you know, are there ways to build muscle at home?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I can answer that. I'm not the biggest muscle body, but I've never gone to a gym. I do all I have is about $100 worth of free weights stuff at home. I do a few weird things like watch the footy skipping, and every goal you do 20 push-ups. So every goal you do 30 push-ups, and every behind you do 20 push-ups.
Good one.
That'll get you fit. Or I'll do jump squats every goal, or burpees every goal, and you just watch a footy game doing skipping, or if you've got a bike or whatever you want to do. And yeah, I do stairs like Jacob's Ladder, or I live near Whitford, so I've never gone to a gym, and I do lots of home stuff like a slam ball, kettlebell. So this stuff costs like $200, and you've got a whole gym, or like not a whole gym, but of course you can probably do more specific stuff in a gym. But I wouldn't say I'm lacking in strength and fitness, and I've never gone to a gym. So, but I train a lot, just at home, probably $200-300 worth of stuff. And again, if anyone had any questions of what I do at home, I could share that. But yeah, I do some fun stuff at home.
Yeah.
Well, so when COVID hit and I couldn't go to the gym for like 2 months, it was, I think, 2.5. First of all, I saw a decrease in my muscle mass, obviously because I'm doing lots of weightlifting and I didn't have the opportunity at home. I had a little home gym. But what I experienced is that I included lots of body weight things, including a resistant band. And when it comes to building muscle, you need to know that muscle only builds when you push your body further than what it's already used to. So you really have to increase the resistance that you're pushing. So even if you do like a push-up right now on the floor, that is a resistance body exercise, which is amazing. But at one point, if it's easy to you to make like 50 of them, you know, your muscle will get used to the resistance and not progress. So if you add some resistant bands that can, you know, how do you say that, simulate weight, then you can incorporate this in your exercises as well from home. And they are only like $50 or so, you know, like you can combine different, and it's so easy, you can bring it everywhere, and there's really no excuse not to build muscle from home, really.
Yeah.
I learned and I became really creative, even though I'm still going to the gym now. I love the gym too much.
Yeah.
I put myself in the environment, and but from home you can definitely build muscle as well. And make sure that you also get enough protein, because that's something that's the building block of muscle mass.
Definitely. As soon as I read that question, I just thought COVID. Yeah, I was the same. I had 2 kilo dumbbells and a 20 kilo easy curl. So it's like no in between. But I found that just simple things like lunges and like even what you mentioned with the push-ups, you can make it harder for yourself. You can challenge yourself. I think, is it called the one we go like down? I can't remember what it's called.
You can do the Bring Sally Up challenge.
Yeah, there's just so many things. Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, speaking of protein, so how much protein do you think you roughly consume, and are you mindful of how much protein? I know you're not 7, what about
stuff in a bowl?
Yeah,
stuff in a bowl.
Or do you?
Back when I originally became, I started doing like bodybuilding and stuff like that all back in the day, but I never truly tracked anything that I was consuming. So the estimation was that I was going to be consuming 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, or 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram, right? And then I realized as I became more educated, you definitely don't need all of that. When you speak to doctors that are in the medical field and stuff like that, you probably come across it potentially as well. You've probably never seen somebody with a protein deficiency. It's always like a micronutrient deficiency or something like that, the thought process of the 1970s Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of bodybuilder type, where they're 250 pounds, they're consuming 250 grams of protein, is prehistoric thought process and whatnot. So the general goal that I like to use is 0.5 to 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight, or 1.1 to 1.75 per kilo. So if you just take your weight, divide it by those numbers or whatever it is, or multiply it, that's basically what you're going to be seeing, and that's what I like to go through. I never track anymore. I'm always between 120 to 140 grams of protein per day, and I get more than enough of what I need to get the job done.
one tip as well, what a lot of people don't know, is that your body is actually not able to absorb too much protein in one meal. So it doesn't make sense to have a bowl full of protein only and not eat any protein the rest of the day, because you need to make sure to nourish your body with protein in different times of the day. And it makes sense, like what I do is I try to hit 20 to 30 grams per meal, and then I'm fine and I don't have to stress about it. And if I have a meal, for example my oats that don't have enough protein, naturally I just add some protein powder in there, and that's an easy fix. I don't even like drinking the shake so much. I don't enjoy drinking protein powder shakes.
Which one do you have, sorry?
Hey?
Which brand do you have?
I always switch, but I think at the moment there's one from Woolies. It's vanilla flavor, plant-based, and it's so good. It's like the best tasting I had.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's a good tip, and make sure to get protein during the day and not just once and then at 8 p.m. before you go to bed you're like, oh shit, I didn't get enough protein.
Yeah, fair enough. So do we have any questions from the audience? Is there anything that we haven't covered that anyone? Yeah, sure. What would you want to come up and? What would you like to know?
I would love to know what the pigs are like as pets, and do they behave themselves?
They're better behaved than my dogs, I'm not gonna lie. So we started out with one pet pig, and she was lovely, Lady Edwina, she's now 4. When we first got her, she was a house pig. She slept with the dogs, she ate with the dogs. My dogs chased a kangaroo, my pig was chasing a kangaroo.
Wow.
And we thought, this is amazing, we should get a boy. And he was not the same.
Wow.
But pigs are amazing pets. You just have to understand, when you see a miniature pig online, they always get to about the size of a Labrador or bigger. In Australia, we don't really have teacup pigs. And the way they get them so small is kind of sad. They starve them during puberty, so it's Dunstable Road. Nothing on my property starved, so mine got too big. I overfed them during puberty. But I know how to sit. My pigs know bath time and they know bedtime. Their favourite meal is chocolate. I know it's probably the best for them, but they love my little chocolate treats. I highly recommend them as a pet if you live on land. But if you have just a little house, don't. They rip up your garden.
Awesome. Well, that sounds like such a great pet. Is there any other questions, or did that answer your question? Oh, yeah. Any other questions? No. Is there anything else that anyone feels like we haven't covered, or anything else you'd like to share?
I was just going to say, one more thing is that it's contagious. So, exercising, always, when we're doing when you're out moving around, it's contagious. So when I often am out doing handstands or something like that, other people start doing it. So, if you're not motivated just for yourself, just know that it inspires other people. When you're out there moving, people in your lives that see you happy and fit, it really has a ripple effect. So I think it's just such a great reason to get yourself out. Do you want to say anything, Rosie, about keeping fit?
Could we see possibly the family push-up challenge?
Does anyone else want to join in? Do you guys want to do some push-ups with us?
I don't know how I go.
Yeah.
I could do an incline push-up, but not on the ground.
Can we put some music on and do some push-ups?
Yeah, could we?
What do you think?
Anyone?
Have we got anyone on music? No.
I'm not sure.
Anyone want to sing? Yeah, pick up. Can anyone sing? Rosie, do you want to sing? Yeah?
No.
Do some beatboxing, mate?
No.
Alright, so should we all do some push-ups?
Okay, I'm just gonna count. Yeah, okay. Alright.
Plural or singular?
I don't know. Stefan, just go on, Stefan. Alright. I guess I'm counting. Cool. Okay, ready?
Let's get down, let's get down.
Wait, Melinda. Ready, go. 1, 2.
Woo!
Let's get down.